Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. And in today's video we're going to review the OPI Fall 2024 collection. It's made up of 12 polishes and they're all metallics. Now you guys know how I feel about finishes, especially mainstream collections that are entirely made up of finishes, no creams. I love solid colors, okay? I'm not a fan of this setup, but I'm going to try my best to separate my personal preference from the quality of the polishes. So we're gonna go through them and I wanna tell you what I like and what I don't like. And also I wanna judge them as they stand on their own. I don't want my bias about whether I like a finish or not to interfere with my opinion on the quality of it. So let's get into it. First up we have Chrome Claws, and this is a metallic, but it also feels pearly. But when you put it on the nail, it does look like a silvery metallic polish. I really don't like how this looks. I tried to get it non-streaky. You can still see the pearly streaks on the nail. It's a look that you have to like. I just really don't like that look. But for what it is, it applies just fine. These polishes, I wouldn't consider them to be beginner friendly. Not these polishes, this one. I wouldn't consider it to be beginner friendly just because you have to have a light touch when you apply it. It does take a little bit of finessing to make it look decent, and for me, I just don't like how it looks. Up next, we have Supernova Pearl, and this one is very similar to the one I just described. It's a little bit less thick in the application, but still I was able to get it opaque in one coat. The streaks on the pearl / metallic finish still show more than I would like. The lines don't seem to even out to give you that fresh chrome look. It still feels pearly, but the color's pretty. It doesn't work for me. I don't really like it, but if you like these types of finishes, I think the formula is fine for what it is. All right, the next two polishes in the collection are very similar in color, and they actually look more similar in the bottle than they do on the nail. So I have them have swatches here side by side so you guys can see them. First we're gonna look at Cyborn again, and this one is very similar to the one I just shared, just a different color, but the formula is about the same. Again, it's gonna give you some streaks. I don't think that the lines in this one kind of even out to make it look like a metallic. I think it still feels pearly to me. Again, if that's a look that you like, the formula's fine. I was able to get it opaque in one coat. I didn't really struggle with it outside of the boundaries of what a pearly kind of finish is, which to me, those are not the easiest ones to work with. But for what it is, I think it applies fine. And then the next one is Cosmic Drop. It has a play on words, kind of like Cosmic Drop and Cosmic Drop. It's a little bit darker than the other one, as you saw in the swatch comparison. Again, very similar formula. I think as they get darker, the streaks in the polish kind of even out a little bit more. It makes them look more metallic and less pearly. Up next, we have You've Got Nail. This one's actually feels close to the silver, but not quite, because this one has a lilac background. I don't like how this looks on me either. It's the same situation as the silver, but again, for what it is, I was able to get it opaque in one coat. I just don't really like the strokes for the pearly finish. It's just kind of hard to work with. And then the OPI brushes are also flat. My nail is round, so as I try to feather the polish to get rid of the lines, the straight edge of the brush kind of makes little dents towards the cuticle area. It's just I feel like it's a struggle for me. And maybe I feel like it's a struggle for me because I don't like the finish. So I'm kind of struggling to reach a place where I don't want to be, But for people that like I said, this pearly kind of stuff, they're fine. Up next, we have a very gold metallic polish. This is called Metallic Rewind. This will be the gold in the collection. It's actually very similar to the next one, but not quite. This is another example that on the bottle, they look a lot more similar than on the nail. You're gonna see them here on a picture side by side. This second one that I'm gonna show you is different in formula and in color. So let's go through this one first. This is another situation similar to the first ones that I have covered. The streaks are there, not my thing, but opaque wise, it's very opaque in one coat, and I was able to just wear it at one. I don't even think for this first 6, and I kind of did them first because I want to end on a positive note. In the last video, I left the ones that I liked the least towards the end. I don't want to do that. So in this video, I did it backwards. I did the ones that I don't like on me or whatever first, and then we're gonna go into the ones that I do like. So for all these 6, I think they're opaque enough that if you get the feathering right to get no streaks, you don't need a second coat. The only reason why you might need a second coat is if you get a bold spot for trying to like play with the formula a little too much, or if in the first coat you get lines that you're not able to smooth out, then a second coat you might be able to smooth that out, but otherwise I think they're fine at 1. All right, now we're entering the second half, and this is my favorite half in both color selection and formula. So let's go with the golden one since I already showed it to you. This one's like a burnt, slightly, very slightly green undertone gold. I think it's a lot better than the previous. The formula is better. It feels more of a metallic and less of a pearl, you know? The streaks barely show. It's very easy to get even. It applies much nicer, and opaque wise, it's still opaque at 1 coat, so that's great. Really, really like this one. I feel like it's unique for mainstream standards, you know? The tone of like burnt green gold that it has, I think is very unique. All right, up next we have Liquid Fire, and this one is a metallic orange. I think it's a great formula. It looks great. Really, really like it. It also has a burnt aspect to it, and even like very slight golden little shimmers in there. Not shimmer, but like metallic micro whatever that is. It gives it a nice glowing effect on the nail. It is very, very beautiful. Also opaque in 1 coat. Again, now we're moving away from the look of pearl and more into a true metallic look. And I think it has to do with the color. If you notice, all of these are the darker ones. All right, up next we have Millennium Mocha. This one is good, opaque, even, and beautiful in 1 coat. I think this one's one of my favorites in this collection. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I think it's unique for mainstream. And when you apply it on the nail, it has this thing around the nail that it feels as if it was gonna be a multichrome. It's not. But it does have like a burnt gold shimmer or whatever this is, the metallic aspect of it. And there's almost like a red purple thing, you know, in the base. So when you apply it, I almost feel like there's a little halo around the nail with a different color, but it's really just like the shimmer sitting on top of the base. I don't know. I think it's very good. I think this is memorable. This is a really good one, easy to work with. You're not gonna have any trouble with it. All right, so the last 3 in the collection, I separated them and left them for the end because they have a different formula. Whereas everything else we've covered so far has like that thicker, opaque in 1 coat kind of formula. These 3 are on the thinner side, more buildable. And when you apply them, sometimes depending on how thin you do your coats, you might see a lot of nail line on the first coat, and it might be weird. You're gonna be like, what's going on? Especially among the others. But when you do the second coat, they even beautifully. So let's go through them. First, you have the blue. I did see that it was a little bit thinner on that first coat, but I just kept going. And then when I did the second coat, it evened out beautifully. It looks great, it looks metallic, doesn't look pearly. I didn't get streaks or anything like that, like in the previous ones. This one's very good, very pretty, and it has like this glowing thing on the nail. It looks fantastic. Next up, we have Cyber Cherry on top, which is like just a red version of the blue that I just showed you. Similar situation. When you do the first coat, it might feel a little bit thin. You might see a nail line. It's easy to work with, which is weird because it wasn't hard to apply, but it does show like unevenness. And then when you do the second coat, everything disappears. It looks great, glows off of the nail. I don't think you're gonna need 3 coats at all. I think it's great at 2. And one thing that I noticed on this, in the bottle, it looks very red. And when I put it on the nail, it has very heavy pink undertones, so keep that in mind. I would still consider it a red, not a pink, because when you look at it in the bottle, you see red, but when you apply it, it feels heavily pink in my opinion, like a very pink leaning red. And last but not least, we have CD Romantic. Keep playing on words there. This was like a red and brown, maybe. There's like a coppery thing going on. This one's so beautiful, and it also has the similar type of formula as the red and the blue, where you need to do 2 coats. The first one's not opaque or thick enough. The formulas of these last 3 are a little bit thinner. I don't know if that's by design or it was just coincidence or it's just the way it worked, but I don't know. They're different. They're different than the rest from the collection, but it's very, very beautiful. I think it's very folly, looks gorgeous. No streaks or any of that. Very nice. All right, so collection as a whole is not a secret. I'm not a fan of pearl polishes, especially not a collection that's full of finishes with no creams, especially for fall. But again, if I am to look at them individually as the polishes stand on their 2 feet for what they are, like I cannot judge a pearl wishing it was a cream because it's not. The first 6 that we went over have a very pearly look to them. I think they're not my favorite thing to wear. And then the last 6, they're very good. They are looking more like metallics, not too streaky, actually at all. You can get them very nicely, even, you know, unique colors, folly colors, except these two. These two are not really folly. They're, I don't know, they're giving like summer vibes. But anyways, they're still pretty. This is one of those that is like, I almost didn't buy it. I wasn't excited about the finishes. But I was very curious. I wanted to see what they were gonna do with them. If you want any comparisons, which I don't think I have many things to compare to these, but anyways, let me know in the comments below and we'll do them as shorts. And thank you guys for coming to my review. I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.